Hello, makers of mankind. Now that we've talked a little about teacher identity, I want to share with you something that strongly influences the personal construction of your own identity as a teacher. And this is the set of values that we hold. In this video, I share with you how you can identify your values and acknowledge them as part of your decision-making process. But I'm going to ask you to do some work with me on this one. Our values are qualities, not things. And they are the things that we hold important in life because we are individuals, we have personal values, and there are no right or wrong ones. There are no values that are better than others. Let me give you some examples. For someone who highly values order, working in a messy room would be an unsettling and disturbing experience. They might find it really difficult to complete tasks and will not be able to focus properly. Someone who values freedom of expression would find it easy to work in a messy room because the messiness could be part of that freedom of expression. A person who values freedom of choice would find it really difficult to adhere strictly to the current lockdown regulations and will feel limited and confined, whereas somebody who values health will find it easy to comply with lockdown regulations. Our values govern every choice that we make, whether they are big or small, and whether they are inside or outside of the classroom. As adults, we seldom have an acknowledged set of values that we can easily bring into the light. They just lie there below the surface and influence everything that we do. Often, arguments and disagreements are governed by our personal sets of values, and we may find it very difficult to understand the other person's perspective because they're arguing from a different value system. When we know clearly what our values are, our own behavior becomes clearer to us. We begin to see the reasons for the choices that we make and can even consciously choose to shift or change our values if they're not serving us well. Knowing your values means taking a step towards understanding yourself and understanding your behavior. This is very important for teachers because our behavior influences many hundreds of children during our professional lives. In order to find or even establish our values, we need to be prepared to do some serious thinking. If you research values on the web, you will find lists and lists of pretty words that you can choose from. The problem with this is that they are pretty words, and we choose them because we like the way they sound. Things like integrity, faithfulness, loyalty, and we say, those are my values. But they seldom are actually the values that we subconsciously embrace. If you really want to establish what your values are, think about some of the following and remember that you can turn off the video to give yourself time to think and write down your responses. Who are the people in your life that you most admire? What is it about them that you admire? Write down those words. Who is the person who is closest to you in the world? What is it about that person that makes them so important to you? Write that down. Think of a time in your life when you were really happy. What was it about that time that made you happy? What values were being satisfied? Write that down. If you were given a choice with no restraints and could spend an afternoon doing anything that you wanted to, what would you do? Why would you choose to do this? What quality does this show? Write that down. If you had a huge amount of money to spend in one afternoon, what would you do with it? Why would you choose this? Write that down. If you were given the choice and could spend a week anywhere in the world, where would you go? Why would you choose this place? Write that down. Think of a time in your life when you were proud of something. What was it that made you proud? And what was the underlying value? If you were to give one message to the world, what would it be? What quality does this show about you? Now we need to get a little more personal. If you were to die tomorrow, what is the one thing that the world would remember about you? Write it down. By now, you should have a minimum of 5 words that you've written down. They will represent your values. Look at that list. Do the words feel right for you? Do you feel that they describe you as a human being? Is there anything about them that you would like to add or take away? Now choose 3 of the words that you feel are the most important to you. Live with them for a while. For a while, like days, before you make your final choice. See how they influence your behavior. Become aware of this. Think about whether they really are what you value most highly in life. Now choose any 2 of those values and think about them very seriously. Which one of them is really important to you? Now choose that one and compare it with the last one. Which one of those is more important to you? This final choice will be your core value and will be the one thing that is the most important in your life. This value will be the one that you will leave a friendship for, or even a marriage. It will be the one that drives you as a human being and that quietly governs who you have become as a person. It is actually your central force. Live with that for a while and see how it fits. Watch how it influences your behavior and makes your choices for you. Become aware of it in your life and see how it affects the way that you work with children and your attitude towards your profession and the educational community. You've got 2 weeks to play around with these values and to establish yours in order. In my next video, I have a little challenge for you. But until then, take care of yourselves and stay safe. I'll see you again.